Hey everyone! So I've been seeing this trend everywhere lately, where people are adding spinach to literally everything they eat. And I thought, you know what? We need to talk about this. Because while everyone's out here treating spinach like some magical superfood, there's actually some pretty fascinating science behind what happens when you eat it every single day. And trust me, some of this might surprise you. So let's just dive right in, because your body starts changing from day one. The first thing that happens when you start eating spinach daily is your blood actually starts working better. I know that sounds weird, but hear me out. Spinach is loaded with something called nitrates. And before you panic thinking I'm talking about the stuff in processed meat, these are natural nitrates, and they're completely different. When you eat spinach, your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide, which is basically like a lubricant for your blood vessels. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that people who consumed nitrate-rich vegetables like spinach had significantly lower blood pressure within just a few hours. We're talking about a drop of around 5 to 8 millimeters of mercury, which might not sound like much, but that's actually comparable to some blood pressure medications. Now here's where it gets interesting for anyone who works out or just wants more energy throughout the day. Research from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that the nitrates in spinach actually make your mitochondria more efficient. Your mitochondria are like the power plants of your cells, and when they work better, you need less oxygen to do the same amount of work. The study showed that people needed about 5% less oxygen during exercise after eating spinach regularly for just 3 days. That's actually insane when you think about it. But let's talk about what everyone really cares about: your eyesight. You've probably heard that carrots are good for your eyes, right? Well, spinach actually blows carrots out of the water when it comes to eye health. Spinach contains these compounds called lutein and zeaxanthin, which are basically like natural sunglasses for your eyes. A study that followed over 100,000 people for more than 20 years found that those who ate the most lutein and zeaxanthin had a 40% lower risk of developing age-related macular degeneration, which is one of the leading causes of blindness in older adults. And just 1 cup of raw spinach gives you about 7 milligrams of lutein, while you'd need to eat like 20 carrots to get the same amount. Now, if you've been eating spinach every day, hoping to get super strong like a certain cartoon sailor, I have some good news and some realistic news for you. The iron in spinach is real, and it does matter. But it's not quite as simple as pop culture made it seem. Spinach contains non-heme iron, which is the type found in plants, and your body absorbs it way less efficiently than the heme iron found in meat. However, here's the cool part: if you eat spinach with vitamin C, which you can get from things like lemon juice, tomatoes, or bell peppers, your absorption rate can increase by up to 300%. The acidity helps break down compounds in spinach that normally bind to iron and prevent absorption. Speaking of absorption, we need to talk about something that a lot of health influencers conveniently forget to mention: oxalates. Spinach is actually one of the highest oxalate foods out there, containing about 750 milligrams per 100 grams when raw. Oxalates are these naturally occurring compounds that can bind to minerals like calcium, iron, and magnesium in your digestive system and prevent you from absorbing them. For most healthy people, this isn't a huge deal, because your body can handle moderate amounts of oxalates just fine. But if you're eating massive amounts of raw spinach every single day, like those green smoothie enthusiasts who are blending 3 cups of spinach every morning, you could potentially run into problems. There have been documented cases of people developing kidney stones from consuming excessive amounts of high oxalate foods. Now, before you freak out and swear off spinach forever, let me put this in perspective. You'd have to eat a truly excessive amount for a prolonged period for this to be an issue. And here's a pro tip: if you cook your spinach, you can reduce the oxalate content by about 30 to 50%, because oxalates are water-soluble and leach out during cooking. Let me tell you something really cool about what spinach does for your brain. There's this compound in spinach called folate, which is basically vitamin B9, and your brain absolutely loves it. Research from Rush University followed nearly 1,000 older adults for 5 years and found that those who ate 1 to 2 servings of leafy greens daily had the cognitive ability of someone 11 years younger than those who rarely ate greens. 11 years. That's not just statistically significant, that's life-changing. 1 cup of cooked spinach gives you about 60% of your daily folate needs. Oh, and if you've been struggling with inflammation or joint pain, this is going to be relevant for you. Spinach is packed with compounds that have serious anti-inflammatory properties. A study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that spinach extract reduced inflammatory markers in mice by up to 40%, and subsequent human studies have shown similar benefits for people dealing with conditions like arthritis or just general chronic inflammation. Adding spinach daily could actually make a noticeable difference in how you feel. If you're finding this information helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, because it really helps more people discover this kind of evidence-based content. Here's something that might make you feel better about your daily spinach habit. It's basically impossible to overeat it from a calorie perspective. 1 cup of raw spinach has literally just 7 calories. You could eat an entire giant, mixing bowl of spinach, and you'd still be under 50 calories. This is why spinach is such a game changer for anyone trying to lose weight. Studies have shown that people who eat more leafy greens tend to have better weight management outcomes. Not because spinach is some magical fat burner, but because it takes up space in your stomach and provides nutrients without adding significant calories. I also want to mention something that's particularly relevant for anyone over 40 or anyone concerned about bone health. Spinach is incredibly high in vitamin K, which plays a critical role in bone metabolism. Just 1 cup of raw spinach provides about 200% of your daily vitamin K requirement. Multiple studies, including one from the Framingham Heart Study, have shown that people with higher vitamin K intake have significantly stronger bones and lower fracture risk. But here's something you need to know. If you're on blood thinners like warfarin, because spinach is so high in vitamin K, it can interfere with these medications. If you're on these medications, you shouldn't necessarily avoid spinach, but you do need to be consistent with your intake and talk to your doctor about it. So what's the bottom line here? Eating spinach every day can genuinely improve your cardiovascular health, support your brain function, protect your eyes, reduce inflammation, and strengthen your bones. The science is really solid on this. But like anything in nutrition, context matters. If you're eating reasonable amounts, varying how you prepare it between raw and cooked, and not going completely overboard with giant raw spinach smoothies every single day, you're probably going to experience mostly benefits. For most people, somewhere between 1 to 2 cups of spinach daily, whether raw in salads or cooked in dishes, seems to be the sweet spot where you get all the benefits without worrying about oxalate issues. And remember, nutrition isn't about any single food being magical. Spinach is fantastic, but it works best as part of a varied diet. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to see more evidence-based content about what different foods actually do to your body, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.